Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Confession. Story 1. I used to smoke my dad's cigars and sometimes cigarettes. This happened a couple years ago, but I still feel guilty. So I was about 13, maybe 14, and it was late. My dad was away for work, so right in the middle of the night I sneak into his room thinking I was stealthily. And first I see his lighter and I grab it, and then I start looking around in his room for anything I could smoke. And then I find a pack of cigs and a box of cigars. I decide to open the box of cigars. While I was opening it, I hurt my hand. So finally I have the cigar in hand. I light up the match and put the cigar in my mouth. My first initial thought was, why was no smoke going in my mouth? So then I realized that the cigar was the wrong one way, so I cut off the part that was burning and flipped it. So now I was finally smoking it the right way, and then suddenly I start coughing like crazy. So I put it out of my mouth. After that I was regretting my decisions. So what did 14-year-old me do? I decide that I'm going to smoke a cigarette, and basically the same thing happens. And even because I hear footsteps and my heat starts pounding like crazy, it ended up being my sister, so no worries. She's not a snitch. And after all that, I regretted all decisions, for smoking at least. Story 2. I let people fail because it makes me look better. As the title says, I don't discourage people around me from certain things because it makes me look better, and I am not here to make your decisions for you. At work, if I see someone constantly struggling, I don't offer to help if they don't ask. If I can figure it out, so can you. I've gotten 2 promotions in 6 months, and while I am great at my job, honestly my co-workers are so incompetent they make me look even better. I also do this with my friends who aren't active and are consciously choosing an unhealthy lifestyle. They'll make. Story 3. A todos a mi alrededor le pasa algo y a mi lo ocultan. Tengo 14 años, es mi primera vez usando Reddit así que no esperen lo use bien. Desde pequeño me han ocultado lo que sucede mi alrededor, incluso por más evidente que fuese. Un claro ejemplo fue como cuando tenía entre 8 a 10 años, en dos ocasiones 6 a mis dos hermanas vestirse una de ellas la ropa borracha mientras la otra la ayudaba a organizarse. Me entera como a los once por una conversación para nada discreta entre mi hermano y mi padre que los habían violado. Ese no es el único problema. Por trabajo mi madre ha tenido que viajar al extranjero y mi padre se metía con otra vieja y no disimulaba ni siquiera porque yo y su hija estuviéramos presentes jugando, y papieres cree que uno no se da cuenta. De por si mi familia está destrozada por problemas entre mis hermanos y el matrimonio de mis padres, aunque igual dual porque fingen que no pasa nada con tal de que yo no sepa aunque lo se. Mi hermana se intentó suicidar de niña pero ahora está con psicólogo. Mi hermano tiene pensamientos suicidas y yo soy el único motivo por el que está vivo. Podrá no ser lo peor del mundo pero igual es un peso que me duele día a día. Hace relativamente poco me entera que a la chica que me gusta que de la casualidad también le gustó. Resulta que también la violaron pero cuando ella tenía 5 años por su padre. No me lo dijo directamente, lo escribió en un papel que supuestamente me iba a dar en un descuido lo le y me entera, no me ha pasado el papel ni me ha dicho nada ni sabe que yo saber tantas cosas dual pero me algo de no vivir nada pero igual eso no le quita dolor a mi situación. Story 4. I lied about being bullied in middle school to my parents' friends and the school administration. Before anyone says this is awful, hear me out. I, 20F, went to middle and high school in a very rural area, where the cool thing was to be Christian and conservative and the uncool thing was to be yourself, believe in science, etc. This specific incident I'll be talking about happened when I was in 5th grade. My best friend at the time, we'll call her Arya, was a very unique individual as far as this area went. She was incredibly smart, especially when it related to science. She wore clothes that her mother had made for her, She always brought homemade foods no one had ever heard of before. She didn't shave her legs, which shouldn't be a big deal for literal 5th graders, but I digress, and the list goes on. I absolutely loved hanging out with Arya, because she was so kind to me and she was so interesting and different to anyone I'd ever met. Looking back, I think I had a crush on her, but I didn't know I liked girls yet at the time. However, because she was considered weird, she got relentlessly picked on, but there were 2 girls who really gave it to her the worst. I'll call them Grace and Hope. Grace and Hope made fun of her for everything that I listed above and much, much more. It pissed me off to no end. But when I would tell Arya that she should let someone know about it, she would brush me off, saying that it really wasn't that big of a deal. It definitely was. These girls would give me really dirty looks from time to time, which I think was due to my very strange fashion sense and my inability to play sports, but the looks are as far as it ever went with me. I decided that if Arya didn't want to involve herself with shutting up Grace and Hope, then that was fine, I would just have to do it myself. So, I lied to my parents, to these girls' parents, and the school administration that everything that was happening to Arya was happening to me. I first lied to my parents, and then they forced the school to call a meeting with their parents to do something about this shit. Of course, Grace and Hope's parents didn't believe that their precious angels could possibly be bullies, but the girls still got reamed by the principal and vice principal. These guys were great and liked me for some reason, and they received around a week of lunch detentions. And, this worked. They left me alone, and since Arya and I were basically together all the time, they left her alone too, because they didn't want to be seen anywhere near me by administration. And I regret nothing, I've just never been able to tell anyone this story and wanted to get it off my chest. Arya left our school a year after anyway. She had already skipped a grade due to her intelligence and was about to skip another one, so she transferred over to a school on a college campus in a much bigger and less bigoted town. I haven't spoken to her since she moved away. She didn't have a cell phone or any social media, so it was hard to get in touch. I miss her, and I really hope she's doing well doing an internship for NASA or something. Story 5. I steal sweeteners and don't even use them for my drink. I steal sweeteners from any shop/food place that has them. Doesn't matter if it's a fast food joint, a restaurant, service station or a cafe in an upscale shop like M&S. I see sweeteners and make a beeline for them. I take handfuls and don't even use them for my drink, I eat them straight. I'm guilty of stealing everyone's sweeteners, and I will never stop. Your sweeteners are never safe. I will continue to commit the sin of stealing sweetener. I feel no shame. Story 6. I stole hundreds of dollars from a chain pizza store while I worked there. I worked at a major chain pizza store during my summer break away from college, and in this chain pizza store, there was always leftover money from cancelled orders, online orders that were never delivered, etc. As the manager I was, it was important for me to do money counts at the end of the night every night. I always noticed the excessive money but never did anything about it at first. The longer I worked at this pizza place, the more I noticed how much money they actually made and how much of that I was getting. This genuinely made me upset, and so I had a system to steal extra money from the store. At first it started off little amounts, but towards the end of my time there, I left with 80 to 150. I feel really guilty later now that I'm older and wiser, but I don't feel as bad. Story 7. I used to fake having a broken arm through middle school for attention. I'm now a junior in high school, so this was about 3 years ago. Throughout middle school I was picked on a lot and didn't have many friends. They decided to ditch me at the end of 5th grade. I wanted to feel loved again by friends. I used to bring this sling for my arm that I used to use a lot when I was younger for when I would pull my shoulder in basketball, swimming, etc. One weekend I was out at my aunt's house and coincidentally pulled my shoulder from putting my arms out too far. On the Monday for school I was wearing the sling and I got a lot of attention about asking what happened, are you okay? I really liked the attention I was getting, so for about the rest of the year I would wear that sling just to have friends. When I confessed to some of them they were mad and left, but the two that stayed didn't mind and said they liked me for who I was. Still to this day they're by my side and we're hoping to graduate and becoming Air Force pilots. Love you guys. Story 8. I committed SA on a girl and can't forgive myself. I don't know if she realize what I did. This post is not fake nor it is a rage bait. If you're going to insult me I will ask you to at least read the whole thing. I'm really disgusted of myself. I can't believe that I did what I did. When I was 12 I was in a public swimming pool with some family, one of them was my cousin, she was 10. Writing this feels disgusting. At one point she was tired and asked for help to get to the ground. When I picked her up and while getting her to the edge I rubbed her, she giggled and said it tickled. This is it and I can't get it out of my head. What led me to this? At that time I just moved from a third world country to America. I came from a country where women are not respected. I grew there with friends and family always talking about women like trash and sexually reducing them. I believe my development was fucked. This was not healthy for a child and I shouldn't even had that perverted mind at that age. At that time I just thought it's hot to do what I did and didn't see the problem with it. Now I grew and I forged my morals. I became respectful and realized how flawed my worldviews were. I try to educate men about feminism and I hate guys who think how I used to think as adults. Today I just pray to every living God that she either don't remember this incident or just thinks I was tickling her, not for my sake but for her own. I don't to be the one who caused SA trauma and I want her to be healthy. I don't know what to do if I should even talk about it with her or continue to hope it's gone from her mind. Am I an SAER for life or by changing I can say that it's not me that did it? I'm consumed with guilt and hope she's okay. Edit. Thanks to everyone for all the advice and for sharing your experiences. Some people are confused because I didn't want to go into details since we're talking about childs. When I say rubbing it was my hand on her private part and through the clothes it was like a second and yes sadly it was intentional. I tried responding but my... Story 9. I took a picture of a girl's butt at lunch today. I feel horrible about it. I felt hot and nervous the moment I did it. It was also pretty packed so I feel like someone saw me and is going to tell her, then she tells everyone about it, then my reputation is ruined. I'm also one of the quiet kids, so people probably think I'm a creep already. She's also one of the popular girls so word would get out faster. And the worst thing about it is that we've known each other since elementary school and we're on good terms. We don't really talk but there was one time she gave me a ride home because it was like 20 degrees. I deleted the picture almost immediately and don't want to do something like that again. I really hope she doesn't find out. If she does, what do I do? I want to be completely honest with her and say I never want to do that ever again, but I don't think she'll take it well. It's been eating at me all afternoon. I only have like 4 months of high school left so maybe it won't be so bad, but still. It doesn't feel good. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.